Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining our free and lesson. Right, so welcome Azan, welcome CCW. Right, welcome Khairul Rizwan. So thank you for joining our free and lesson. So for today's topics, I want to share with you about the factory design utilities, and we're going to transfer this factory design into Naviswork. Right, so basically this is the objective for today. So first thing is we're going to take a look on the basic of factory design utilities, on what we can do with it. Then we're going to transfer the factory design utilities models into the Naviswork Manage. Right, so on the Naviswork Manage, we're going to review all of these parts, and we can do this project collaboration inside of Naviswork Manage. All right, let me switch to my inventors. Now, what you see over here, this is an assembly lines which is created inside of Inventor factory design utilities. Right. Now, for those who don't know how to get your factory design utilities, this is basically how you get is by buying the product design and manufacturing collection. So if you take a look over here, if you buy the product design and manufacturing collection, you're going to get Acad and also the several sets such as the architectural, electrical, mechanical, and so on. You're also going to get the factory design utilities, the Inventor Professional. So if you buy the Inventor Professional standalone, you're only going to get sheet metals, stress, and similar things down here. You're not going to get the Inventor Restaurant. So by getting the product design and manufacturing collection, you will get the Inventors, the AutoCADs, the factory design utilities, and also the Naviswork. So let me just share back the screen. All right. So this is one of the samples of factory design models that I have created inside of Inventor. So once you have installed the factory design utilities, you should have this factory tab available when you're creating the new factory design model. Now, factory design is at assembly, so you can still access the assembly file from here. If you will need to input some of the files, such as from Revit or other sources such as AutoCAD, you can use this assembly to place the content from. Now, let's say if I want to create my assembly lines right from scratch, what I can do is there, once you install the factory design, you should be able to see the factory layout available. So if you create new and then you get to the English US, you should be able to see the factory layout is available on the assembly. So if I want to see more, I can go to the factory folder over here. Then I have this factory layout, which is available on inch and also millimeters. Let's say if I want to start create the factory layout on millimeters, so I can select here and create. First thing that you're going to see is this base over here. And I mentioned before, you still have access to assembly. So if you needed to input some of the 3D models, such as Revit, AutoCAD, and so on, you can just simply click and open the file from here. Then you can just input this part from here. Now, besides than that, on the factories, you will also get the factory asset browser. So you can see the right panel over here, I have this asset browser, which have these multiple things, multiple components, or multiple items, which is already available, some access with it. Now, for example, if you needed to have a conveyor or machines or anything, so Autodesk already provide this asset for you. So you can just go over here and then you can just input right inside of your factory design. So let's say if, for example, I go into this system assets and I want to input the conveyor inside of my factory design. So I can just go into the conveyor over here. Then over here, I have multiple types of conveyors. So all of these already provided. It is a standard asset. So let's say I want to input a belt conveyor. And what I can do here, I can just double click and I can just simply click and import it inside. So that is how you easily can take some of these items from the asset browser, right? So if I want to add some more, so I can just click and I can add another one, right? So maybe I want to have a horizontal curve, so I can just click and add, and then I can add some more items that I may want to add from here, right? So you can see I can just simply attach it like a Lego, so it's very easy to use. But this is a standard asset. How about if you want to have the size which is according to your preference? For example, when I input over here, this is the size that I get. Now, the file from the asset browser is actually intelligent, which means you can edit these files, and then you will able to set the height, the length, the legs, so you can just simply use these factory properties available from. So if you don't see the factory properties, you can just click on the plus over here or the plus over here, and then just make sure to have the properties for factory properties available. And then anything that you click is going to show from here. Now, what I want over here, let's say I want to have the height, let's say a little bit shorter, around 600 height, and I want the width to be much shorter as well. Let's say around 650, and I want my length to be a little bit longer. Let's say I'm gonna go with 3,000. So once done, I can just press enter. All of this number that I input is going to update on the item that I created over here, and it's going to apply on the other item which is connected to this item as well. So right now it is now updating for the other two items. Let me just open back again. Right. So you can see the other item also changed. Right. So other than that, so if you go to asset browser, not only that you have access to the conveyor, you also have access to other things such as the material handle, maybe these cage containers. Maybe you want to add some robot, so you can just simply select from here, right? So from the equipment over here, just give it a second. So for right, okay, maybe from this equipment over here, I want to add some robot over here. You can just simply click, drag, and drop, and done. Now, if you take a look over here, there are also some other items that not yet has been downloaded. For example, if I take a look on the system asset from here, let's say if I go to the material handling, let's say on automatic guide, so you can see we have this vehicle here, which is have this empty mark over here. So from time to time, Autodesk will automatically, Autodesk will add some more items, some more assets inside of the factory. And if you just need it, you can just right click and you can download this asset. And then you can use this asset inside of this Inventor factory design piece. Right, so right now it's been downloaded, and then I can just simply click and move inside, and it's now available for me to use. Right, so other things there is that you can also use and open automatically inside of AutoCAD from here. So if you would like to play around with the 2D, right? So for example, if you need to create a factory layout in the 2D, you can also use in AutoCAD. And then once you have already finished, you can also open in Naviswork if you needed to do a project collaboration. Right? Maybe you need to do some review for your factory layout, for example. Right? So for example, I have this sheet metal production safe, which is already being created, and I also have these assembly lines. Right. Okay, just give it a second. Now, this factory layout, once you have created, you will have one of these factory layout. Now, if you want to collaborate each individual layout, for example, maybe one person create this factory layout, and the other person create layout for bay 1, and then the other person create layout for bay 2, and then you want to collaborate each other from here. So inside Inventor, you can also assembly, right? So you can also assembly the file. Once you have saved the factory, you can just place assembly file from here. However, it will be very, very heavy, right? It's going to slow down the machine process inside of your computer. Now, for example, I have this assembly line over here, and maybe I want to collaborate with Inventor product. I can just use assembly to input some more, and then you have the entire assembly. But however, if you have too many production line and then you want to collaborate, it's going to become very slow. So for that case, we have the Naviswork. Right. So from the factory, you can also open directly inside of Naviswork. So how you can do that? Right, so let me just click. Right. So this is the Naviswork that you will see. So once you open the Naviswork, first thing that you're going to see is black background over here. And what you can do to input is that we have open over here, which allow you to open. If you want to create new, it's going to create this new black background. And then we also have a pen. So the most of the time you will use a pen a lot. So a pen is where you can use to add some of these models inside of Naviswork. Now, from the Inventor, you can also use Open in Naviswork, and it's going to automatically open this file inside of Naviswork. It's going to convert, but however, it's going to take some time to load. So for this case, I already created and saved. So from the Naviswork, we can just use a pen to just insert the 3D model from. Let's say I click pen, and then let's say from here we have some of the Naviswork files, right? So for example, I want to add some Inventor file. So if I click at the drop down over here, you will find the list of available model that you can add from here, such as the OBJ, the Pro Engineer, right? So maybe you want to add CATIA files, or maybe Revit, so you can select and see from here. For this case, I want to add the Inventor file. So I'm going to select the Inventor. So it's going to give me the list of Inventor. So I can just click over here and click open, and it's going to convert that Inventor assembly file into the Naviswork file. Now, what it's going to do here is going to make this item very, very light. So if I open the Inventor, for example, if I take a look on the assembly line itself, so if I zoom in, rotate, and so on, you can find it very, very easy, very light to turn and so on. So the reason why, because some of this individual file is actually a simplified version. So if I take a look on this item over here, for example, this buggy VMAX, so you can see, so we have some tires, some bolts and nuts, everything inside here. But if I take a look, it's only one part only. So if I take a look over here, it's just in model states or origins. So if I want to take a look more details, so I can open this one and I can select and see the individual tires, the bolts, nuts, and so on. But if you try to put all of this inside of assembly, most likely it's going to slow and buggy. But however, on the Naviswork, this allow you to include everything, including the bolts, nuts. Even Naviswork allow and available to run all of this 3D by just convert it into Naviswork file. Now, right now it's still loading, but once we already finish loading as a Naviswork files, and it will automatically save as Naviswork files. Is going to become very, very easy to use. Now, while loading for the Naviswork files, is there any question that you would like to ask regarding the factory design or the Naviswork itself? Now, another thing is, if you take a look on this asset browser over here, this asset browser is Autodesk asset browser, so you can just double click and put over here, and you can download the asset must not yet download. However, if you want to include your own asset inside of Inventor as well, now you can also convert that item into asset browser, right? So you can convert into factory design asset browser. For example, if I open one of my 3D model, let me take a look. Say, let's say I have this machinery. So let's say I have this machine over here, and I would like to convert this machine into a factory. So what I can do is that I can just go into the factory over here, and I can select asset building. And what it will do is allow you to select the landing surface, which is the landing for this into the base of the factory. And once you have done, so the landing surface has been set perfectly. Okay, so once you are done, we can just simply select public asset, save. Once you save on the asset browser, you should be able to see that on the user asset over here. It's going to able to show up from. So once we have done, we can just simply double click and drop. Now this Naviswork has already been loaded. Now this is just one part. Let's say if I want to add some more factory layout. So what I have added over here is the assembly line. Let's say if I want to add some more, right? So maybe I take a look. Maybe the next one I want to add the sheet metal production line. I can just double click and it's going to add the sheet metal production line from here. Maybe I want to add some more items. Let's say the fabric, right? So to basically merge everything inside over here. Right, so the fabric over here, we have, take a look over here, we have this building. Maybe I don't want to see the building, I can just turn it off. Then you can see this sheet metal and also assembly line has already been added over here. So Naviswork is a project collaboration software which allow you to collaborate. It's not actually a designing software, right? But more on software for review. Right, so you can see we have added some of the things from here. So let's say I also add and create a new assembly file from here. Now this is just a file that I have created from here. I also have saved that one. Maybe if you want to save, you can just simply save, and it will allow you to save as two of file over here. So one is NWD, and the other one is NWF. Right? So there are two Naviswork files that you can save as. So either NWD or NWF. NWD stands for Naviswork document. So what this does is that it will automatically compress all of these files inside of one file, instead of one Naviswork file. Meaning at the NWD file, you're going to have the building, the everything inside from here, from there. But from the NWF stands for Naviswork file, is going to link the file into one single file. So NWD file will be much larger, while NWF will be much smaller in size, because the file itself does not contain any 3D model, but rather it is linked with the assembly line or the other Naviswork files that you have linked from here. So that is the difference. So if you want to have one file only, you can just use NWD, but NWF allow you to have a link to the software. So for example, if I make changes inside of factory design, and then I save for the NWF, it will allow you to update the product itself. Right? So we have this update over here. We're going to update the new changes that you make from the factory design. However, when you use the NWD, it's not going to have any link, because the file has already been compressed inside NWD file. So that is the difference. Now I already created some of the things. So let me just open the entire factory NWD. So this is the factory layout that has been merged inside. So you can see on the selection tab over here. So we have fabrics, assembly line, sheet metal, strengths, and some of the things has been added from here. And you can also use pen to add some more items, and it will be still very large, and you still be able to pen rotates and move very easily. Now, what you can do from the Naviswork file, okay, is that first of all, Naviswork allow you to do a review. For example, you need to do some walkthrough simulation, you can go to review. You can go to the viewpoint, and then you have this realism that you can add a third person. Maybe you want to see from third person perspective, and then you can simulate a walk movement from here. Now let me just change the look around, and then you can simulate on how exactly that you will see inside of this machine process. Now, let me just turn off the collision. Okay, there we go. Now this is basically what you're going to see. Now, if you want to see very clearly, you want to experience what happened in real life, so you can use this method. Now, the other things that you can do, you can also do to review and do some markups. Let me just turn off this third-person view. Now you can use this to review what happened between these two projects over here. So if you take a look over here, this is a point cloud 3D model. Now, for example, if you have a 3D scanner that you would like to include, so Naviswork also allow to add 3D scanner object inside of Naviswork, so you can do product collaboration from here. So you can see we have this recap work, which is this van over here, and then we also have this item over here. If you take a look, there are some clashes, right? So you can use Naviswork to do some review and check whether there are some clashes, some interference. So when you're done, you can use the viewpoint to save the view, or you can use the review. Maybe I needed to inform someone, but I needed to highlight this and make sure somebody else will take a note. So what I can do is that I can go to review, go to markup, and I can draw a cloud for review, and I can add some text saying, let's say this beam need to become smaller, or maybe become shorter. Right, so once I press OK, so it's going to have this shown over here. So maybe I need to change to different color, but never mind that. So once you have saved the markup, it will save this on the viewport. So when I click, when I go anywhere, maybe this is the view that I want to save the view. Maybe I want to see this view later on. I can go to viewport and save the view, and I can rename any view that I want. Once I go back over here, I can see the view that I need to see. Right? So above here is the view, which is the markup view. So you can just save your viewpoints right over here, and you can easily manage between the teams if there are any clashes or anything. But if you want to see the clash itself, if you want to do some simulation to see if there are any clashes, on the Naviswork we have this clash detective. This clash detective allow you to check the clashes between this object. Now, what I can do is that I can just click this clash detective, and then from here I can create a new test. And then on the below here, this is where I can select to simulate between which item and which item to have a clash. Right? So maybe if I drop down over here, maybe I needed to see between the assembly line and also the sheet metal production. So the assembly line, the sheet metal production should be somewhere around here. On the assembly line should be around here. So I want to see if there are any clashes between these two, and I can just run the test, and then it will tell you the result on here. So basically, no clashes has been detected between these two items. Now, maybe I want to check this file itself. For example, on the sheet metal design. So for example, let's say I have designed this production line for sheet metal. What happened if I want to see the clashes? So I can just go back to my select. For this case, I'm going to select sheet metal and I'm going to compare this with sheet metal itself. And then I can run the test. Then I can see if there are any clashes. So I have these clashes over here. I have the other places which has other clash and over here, right? So I can use this and I can go into the review to add some markups and anything else. So it's going to, so you can easily check where the item or where the area that clash has been created. Now, I have mentioned before that when you take a look over here on the Inventor itself. Now, if you take a look on this buggy car over here, on the buggy bike over here, this bike is not just an individual bike that we see inside of Inventor. So inside Inventor, we have this item over here, which is VMAX full, which is only one item. Only if I open this item that I'm going to see the parts of. For example, if I open this one, and only then I can see each of these individual files. So if each of these individual file is open inside of assembly, most likely it will be lagging and likely crash. So inside of Naviswork allow you to view all of the individual files inside of here. So if I take a look over here on the assembly file, let me just select this one. Once I select, it's going to automatically open on this selection tree. It's going to list which is the item. So which is this VMAX. So if I drop down, all of this file has been shown over here. But the screw, boots, the screw, bolts, and nuts, everything inside. Right. So maybe I need to see over here. Maybe I needed to see over here. I can just right click and then I can select hide unselected. It's going to hide everything else except for this item. So maybe I select this file here and I can select and hide unselected. So only this item has been shown. So you can see very detail has been added inside of Naviswork. Right. So basically that is the review for the Inventor's Naviswork Inventor factory design to the the Autodesk Naviswork. So that is basically all from me. So if do you have any question that you'd like to ask regarding the factory design and also the Naviswork? Right, so I believe no questions so far, right? So that is basically things that I would like to cover today. So thank you everyone for joining. So I hope I can see you guys on our next free lesson. So until then, so thank you very much and bye-bye.